Menominee, and Ojibwe, it is my pleasure to be a part of Art Week Des Moines. That is on the land of the Sauk and Fox. On Zoom and Facebook, which are located on the land of the Ohlone and Timon. Welcome to lunchtime potion making sessions with me, Ms. Terry, JoJo, and a set of friends who will make your skin tingle and your heart sing. And now, let us enter this time with joy and love and curiosity as Chi sings us into Potions for Humanity!
Times in our lives, we all have pain, we all have sorrow, but if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend, and I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Please swallow your pride if I have things you need to borrow, for no one can feel those of your needs that you won't let show. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend, and I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on.
Thank you, Chi. Thank you for that gift. So I'll take a breath together as we step into this space, the space that Ms. Terry and Chi have opened up for us. A space of love, a space of curiosity, a space of wonder, a space where we can hold each other, where we can reach out for help, where we can take help, where we can create the systems and relationships we need to be able to be there for each other so that we are free to heal. And we're going to have to heal to be free. And so that's why we're here today, doing some potion making. I'm so grateful to be coming to you from West Branch, Iowa, from West Branch Friends Church. Let me set up a little studio in the pastor's study. This is on the land of the Sauk, the Fox, and Meskwaki. This week, we have been calling the creative force of Iowa and across the country together to say, what does this moment in time call us to? We are in a historic time when we're dealing with a pandemic we've never experienced that has shifted everything that we understood about how we do stuff in this world. And we're still trying to figure out what that means, as well as how to survive and how to do the things we need to do, much less what we might want to do differently when we re-enter the public square. And one of the things that has risen to the highest level and focus right now is that state violence against Black people is way too possible. It's way too frequent, and it is not acceptable. We have had state violence against other peoples through our time, and we need to always be working against that. And so we have a moment in time where we're not only saying no more state violence against Black people, but also racism's influence on how we understand and organize ourselves needs to be undone. And we need to find a new way to organize and understand ourselves. And so I have felt called in this time to ask the creative force of which I feel a part, creative artists and creative healers, creative educators, creative entrepreneurs, creative organizers, the ones who are always creating new stuff, to say, what can we bring to the table? And what do we need to do ourselves to be able to show up and have the influence we can have in the worlds around us? And then how do we connect with each other as we do that? It's a personal journey, it's a collective journey. There's internal work, there's external work, and then there's systemic work. And we need to be playing in all those different spaces and levels. And as creatives, we have that capacity. And we also have the capacity to vision and then manifest those visions. So what are we called to in this time? I've had this potion making project in development for a while with various collaborators, Chi and Callie. Among them, I can't see who, Aaron, we've had some wonderful folks, Lily, and some folks that I've just had conversations with who have shaped this thinking. And so thank you to all of you who have really helped shape this project. And so, I'm going to throw this project into the mix of what we can use, how we can use it. So we've been doing some lunchtime potion making sessions, do a little workshopping of this sort of virtual workshop all week. Black Benatar kicked us off on Monday with an amazing performance. I hope you all watch. That sets a beautiful framework for us to understand what we're working toward. And then Tuesday, we did potions making for justice. Wednesday, potions making for equity. Yesterday, potion making for diversity. And today, potion making for inclusion. And so Chi's song of Lean on Me is beautiful because I think when we really get to the place of true equitable inclusion, we can get to the place where we can lean on each other. We can be there for each other. We can have the needs met of the support that we need in this world, right? And so it requires that journey through justice and equity and diversity to get to that place of inclusion. So we're gonna make some potions about that. I'm so excited. You have the powers, we have the powers. They lie within us, they lie within our stories, and we can tell those stories to share those powers so we can create the transformations we are called to in this moment.
Jojo, we have this lovely studio audience with us, plus all the potion makers out there ready to make potions on their own. Let's have everyone in the Zoom room unmute yourself and quickly go around with your name, pronoun, location, and a superpower you bring to the creative force. Please let us know if you have a potion you would like to share in a little bit.
And let's start off with Sam, and then if you just want to pass it to the right from there, that'd be great. And if someone's already gone, just pick anyone you want.
Okay, my name is Sam. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I'm currently in Belfast, Maine. My superpower is I am a writer and I write poems and plays.
You pass it to the right.
So should I say who the next person is, or how does?
Yeah.
Chi. Okay, so Chi, I see you as next.
Yes. Hi everyone, I'm Chi. My pronouns are she, her, and I am from Chicago. My superpower is seasoning my lips with honey.
And you want to pass it to the right?
I can pass it to the right. To my right is Gwen.
Hi, I'm Gwen St. Neal, she, her, hers, and I'm from West Branch, Iowa. This is my granddaughter, Tali, and I hope my superpower is empathy.
You want to pass it to the right?
And I'm going to pass it to the folks in Creston.
Who also have been essential in shaping this project.
I'm Bailey, pronouns are she, her, hers, and my superpower is connectivity.
And I'm Blake, he, him, his, and also my original superpower is also connectivity. I'm trying to see if I can switch my view here. Okay, so here's our dynamic duo. Materializing our superpowers in real life by connecting marginalized youth with community through the creation of mural making. And so that is kind of our superpowers that we've been working on and down here in Creston. But we also need to be able to do work from home. And so yesterday was something that kind of stuck with me was somebody's love for food. And immediately it came to my mind was pie. And so
Can we spotlight his video?
Yeah, I'm gonna switch this around also.
Thank you.
So It says Jedi Pie, the power of pie, baking pies for a just, equal, diverse, inclusive future. Just a pinch of compassion, equal amounts of inclusivity and equity, a diverse approach to all life.
Yes, thank you.
That's our retirement plan.
Yay! I love that. Thank you for sharing. Blake and Bailey hosted the very first potion making workshops in Crested in a snowstorm in January, out in southwest Iowa, and so they're going to be the hub for potion making in that region. So I'm so excited to get back there and play with you, and that'll be the place we do our very first potion show, where we brew some potions that people have made and turn them into show, both gallery and performance. So, all right, you want to pass it to the right?
I can't see the view, so
okay.
Somebody will jump on.
Let's see. How about Jessica?
Thank you.
And we can go back to gallery view.
This is to me. Oh, yes. My name's Jessica Egley, and she, her. I'm in Iowa City, Iowa, and my superpower, I suppose, is I teach the art of acting to youth as a way for them to, discover self-worth and mutual respect of others. And to my right is JoJo. That's you. Okay.
Hey.
Lily?
Sure. I'm Lily, she, her, hers, in Chicago, Illinois. And for today, I'll say that my superpower is creative problem solving within limited resources. If you want something made out of cardboard on a $0 budget, then let's talk.
I've seen that power in action.
Yeah. And to my right, let's see, we've already, Jean's iPhone.
Hi, I'm Jean Littlejohn, she, her, hers, and I'm in Iowa City with my daughter. Do you want to introduce yourself?
You have to say superpower.
Oh, yesterday I said my superpower was that I'm a choir director, so I'll just say that again.
I'm Claire, she, her, and right now my superpower is listening.
And Nolan is to our right.
Hello, folks. Nolan, he, him in Iowa City. And my superpower is being able to take the macro and break it down into the micro and vice versa. And whoever might be to my right, we're going to pick Erin.
Thanks, Nolan. My name's Erin Kreitz, she, they. I'm based out of Los Angeles, and today my superpower is plasticity, my heart space and brain space being flexible and open to things. And to Suze, it's not gone yet, I don't think.
Nope, I haven't. Sue McCracken, Iowa City, she, her, hers. My superpower is probably organization.
Hi, Pastor Sue. Let's see. I think we've got Rachel and Iowa Arts Council left.
Okay, Rachel?
Here I am, coming in. I don't know why I'm always so shady. Anyway, I'm Rachel Boozy, she, they, out of Des Moines, and my superpower is, I'm going to say imagination.
All right, thank you. And Rachel is Art Week Des Moines and is streaming all this and making this so possible. So thank you so much, Rachel.
Hey, Johnny, I was not sure if you were going to call on me. My current superpower is eating incredibly spicy French fries behind the scenes of this. So I wasn't prepared, but I do have some experience in music, and today I am working on creating a Spotify playlist of Iowa musicians to showcase for the partnership. So that's what I'll be working on kind of in the background of this. But nice to meet you all.
Thank you. Thanks for letting me call on you.
Yeah.
Lindsay has been super incredible at making this all possible. The Iowa Arts Council is supporting this work all week and carrying on the work all summer to culminate at the Iowa Arts Summit on August 7th that we hope everyone's going to gather, because then we're really going to be able to have lots of different discussions of the ways we need to adapt in this moment in time, using this disruption as opportunities to manifest the worlds that we want. So I'm really excited and grateful. The Iowa Arts Council has just been a gift to me over the course of this and my time in Iowa. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Johnny.
Yeah. Okay, so Tanya is our last one. Popped on in. We're giving our name, pronouns, and superpower and location.
Hi, Tanya English. Let's see. She, her, hers. Superpower is healing and blues singing. That's my superpower. And let's see, what was the last thing, Johnny?
Where you are.
Oh, I'm in Coralville, Iowa.
Perfect. All right. So, so I think we've kind of set up what the week has been. So today we're going to go through the potion making process, only gets to the ingredients. Oh, wait a minute. I've been talking about potions and I haven't actually said what that is. Miss Terry, would you take a moment to explain to us what a potion is?
I would love to, Johnny. You see, I'm excited about this potion recipe we've been developing, and as you can see, this 3-step process is pretty simple. First, tell a story of a moment in time that was significant to your development as a human. Second, name the powers in that story, and these become your ingredients. Third, you make a sensory experience out of those ingredients to unleash that power in you or the world around you. This could be a sound or a song, a movement or a dance, an oil or tea blend, a costume or puppet, a piece of visual or performance art, or something to share your story and power. Do we have anyone here that would like to share a potion today as an example?
I could show a little something.
We would love to see it.
Awesome.
Okay,
Spotlight
so-
Aaron's video.
So yesterday, out of my story, I was thinking about ritual and spirals and renewal. So I made, I don't know if anyone remembers the spirograph from when they were kids, but I made this mandala yesterday, and each new ring, as I went around, I was kind of meditating on the power that came with it. So authenticity is in there, doing laps and spirals and swoops, and sense of place in the world is part of this too. So I was thinking a lot about cosmic order in this one, and finding one's place, my place in that space.
Thank you.
My mandala potion.
I love that. So this is a wonderful example. So we saw Blake's pie that had words as well as, sort of imagery, a recipe, and a retirement plan all wrapped up in that. And then what we get to see with Aaron's is the words don't have to be there. The intention as you're creating can be there, so that you may need to share what those ingredients or powers, or someone may just look at it and that may just be unleashed within them, right? This is the power of art. In this work. And so I remember when we did it in Creston, they set up a pottery wheel and we had it spun, and I said, grab whatever colors make you think of the power and the ingredients you're pulling, and then think of those powers as you squish that paint down, and that is your potion. So we can also take it to that sort of abstract space and not have to name things, to articulate things. And sometimes, that brings its own power. So thank you so much, Aaron. So today's session, we're only going to get through the list of ingredients, and then you're going to take them and play with making some potions and hopefully post them, submit them, and then we'll be gathering them all summer long. We're going to take these videos from or the episodes this week. We're going to edit them together and make instructional videos online for folks to do this. So we encourage you to do this all summer long, and we'll curate them at the Iowa Art Summit and do a workshop about the themes that emerge with some guest panelists who will have made some wonderful potions for us. So This is nothing new. It's just storytelling, power sharing, and art making. And we believe that we have healing tinctures in us that we can bring to the table, that we can bring to our own lives, and we can bring to this work. And so trying to tap those and share them is what this project is all about. Before we get started, to really get into it, Chi is going to come back and really just help ground us. And Chi, I found that opening song to be a grounding. And I'm glad to also then take another moment. As for me, I know I keep always moving up to my head. And so pulling myself back down to my body in the ground, and remember that we are bodies in time and space together, and the center matters.
Yes, it does. It does matter. I invite everyone in this moment to get into a comfortable position, whatever that may be. Standing, sitting, kneeling, whatever you feel comfortable doing. And just take in the sounds around you. Here in Chicago, it is raining, and you can hear the pit patter of the raindrops on all of the things. But wherever you are, whether you're in your room or you are outside, wherever you are, just take a moment to notice the sounds. While you're noticing those sounds, take a moment and breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Breathing in for 3 and out for 5. So that's 1, 2, 3. Breathing in, and then 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and out. And as you're breathing in and out, I invite you to lean in to the sound. Can you notice those sounds with the right side of your body? So listening from the right ear, feeling sensations from the right side of your body, your right foot, your right leg, your right thigh, your right arm. Back up to your right ear. And then switching to the other side, can you hear those same sounds with your left ear? Feeling the sensation in your left foot, your left leg, your left thigh, your left arm. Back up to your left ear. Now can you take in those sounds with both, allowing the fullness of a stereo experience? Feeling the sensations in unison, integrating both parts of the body. The idea of being able to lean in or lean on externally can also happen internally, where we lean into the body, we lean into the experience of sound, we lean into the feelings, the sensations that are constantly happening in our bodies. Perhaps if we lean in to our bodies and create an equitable space inside of ourselves, we can duplicate that same beauty out in the world. Ashe. And so it is.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, if I can't lean on me, how am I going to lean on someone else? How am I going to be able to have someone lean on me, right? Thank you. Thank you. I think, this work a lot of times seems to always be framed as for somebody else, about somebody else, and outside of ourselves. And I think the work that we do inside probably has the greatest impact on what we're able to do outside. So I want to thank you, Chi, for grounding us in that way. I want to share with you this statement because I think this is a mission statement for me, really, because I do think our personal journey as we figure out how to cultivate the gifts we have and manifest the visions that come to us, which are our unique contributions, can be brought together with other people to be able to co-create worlds, right? That are just, equitable, diverse, and inclusive. And that inward journey of, do I have justice in my relationships? Do I have justice within myself? Are the scales within me balanced, right? The equitable piece, who owns me? Who owns my time? Who owns the money that I spend? Who owns the money I get, right? Where is the ownership within me? Where am I? What am I feeding within myself? Is it love? Is it creativity? Is it hate? Is it rage? Diverse, am I able to deal with all the pieces of who I am so that I'm able to deal with people who are different than me, right? And then, am I fully included? Do I include all of who I am in my understanding of myself? Are there pieces that are left out? Because if there are pieces that are left out, I'm going to be leaving other folks out. And so I want to frame all of this as our personal journey, our journey toward our careers, our relationships, our place of, where we live, all is our Jedi journey. It is all either leading toward justice or leading away from justice. And we can find our personal success wrapped up in this work, and our personal joy. I know for me, I was probably about, I think, 20 years old when I awakened to the idea of injustice, the understanding of injustice. I was a missionary in Detroit and working in Cass Corridor with mostly African-American people, feeding homeless folks, and then working with kids in the housing projects. And I was sitting across the table from this grandmother in the housing projects who was raising her grandkids, real meager means. I'm not sure how, she was going to put food on the table that night. And I walked out of there and got in the car that they had given me and drove to the suburbs that they were putting me up at a really nice house, and had my little, expenditure to pop anywhere I wanted to buy anything I wanted to eat that night. And I was like, wait a minute, this woman has just expressed to me an understanding and a love for God that is beyond my comprehension. And yet I get these things that she doesn't. And I started to then explore and understand and awaken to the fact that injustice existed in the world and that was counter to my values. And so I don't know if you can see my arrow, but see this little path over here? I was way over here, right? Wakening up to this idea. And I then started to look around, and I heard voices, and I heard joyous laughter, and I heard challenging rage and protest and riot, and I heard loving invitations and conversations that mattered. And I wondered where that came from. And so I followed it through this pretty little forest, through the path that I had to carve a little bit and had been carved for me before. And I walked in and I saw there was this whole fairgrounds of people that were communing with each other, that there were people in these different tents, in the justice tent. There were people that were grabbing onto the arc of history and yanking it further toward justice. There were people in the equity tent who were asking the questions of who owns this space? Who owns what we're eating? Where is the ownership in our society? And is it equitable? And then I walked over here to this diversity, tent, and it was a wonder. All of these different people and all of these same people all communing together, celebrating, dancing, sharing, exchanging. But I found out I wasn't allowed to go into that tent unless I went through the justice and equity. So that I understood that the difference in our society is also tied to an imbalance in the resources we can access, in the representation of ourselves in media and in politics, in the safety for our bodies. And so I wasn't allowed into that tent until I went through those other pieces, and then got to this beautiful tent of inclusion where the practices were integrated, and we were more likely creating inclusive spaces and then sharing with each other when we weren't, and being able to learn, which just sent us again through these tents, which kept popping me back to my entry point every time. There's this beautiful spiral dance. And so I invite you to see this work as the fairgrounds that you can enter, that you're probably a part of. And I want you to dance in these tents with me and with other folks as we create a more just, equitable, diverse, and inclusive world, starting with ourselves, starting with our artistic practices, and then taking it to our creative communities and then to our cultural institutions. So today we're going to talk about, and really make potions for that. No, don't do it that way. Make potions for that wonderful tent. I don't know how to, okay. Stop share. Okay, sorry about that. I want to take us to, Black Venator on Monday set the stage, gave us a set of ingredients. So I just want to whip through this to pull out those things that we learned, and all, just kind of call out a few things. The first thing is 12 years an ally. It takes 12, Black Venator says it takes 12 years to become an ally, and then you're just never done. You got to keep being an ally and keep showing up. In fact, I think the last thing, and I'm going to repeat this again, is my job is to keep trying. And so then cultural equity being what we're aiming for, which is principle, process, and outcome. Diversity is not, it's something that is an input for equity, which I thought was really interesting. And I think for me, diversity, it can be a desire, it can be a drive to go through that other work so I can be able to enjoy diversity. And we remembered yesterday that diversity without equity is disingenuous. If you have a bunch of different folks all around, but only one set of folks are doing all the talking and taking all the space, we're not accessing that, right? And so inclusion, being really active and intentional. And this is what we're going to focus on today. What does active and intentional inclusion look like? It's not just enough to invite someone to a place when usually they're not going to be actually included. And that's it. That's not inclusion. That's just invitation. We need to do the work to be able to say, oh, usually you don't feel included in this space. So what do I need to do actively and intentionally to be able to have this be a space where you can own it too? And that's where equity comes in, right? If I'm owning the space and I'm inviting you in and you get no ownership over that space, that's not inclusion. That's not equitable inclusion, I would say. And so I'm really excited. The prompt that we're going to give, and I'll just set you up for this and go through a few more slides, is tell a story of a moment in time when you witnessed yourself or someone else actively interrupting the dominant flow of a situation to create a radically inclusive space. A time when you saw cultural allyship at play, creating an equitably inclusive experience for you or someone you knew. We'll put it up there, don't worry. But think about a space where you saw an action, someone being actively intentional to create an inclusive space for someone who may not have been experienced. And that may have been for you, or you might have done it. So that's what we're going to do our potion about. Remember that privilege and oppression are two core pieces of this, where privilege brings advantage and preference times right, and oppression brings disadvantage and judgment times right. And this happens with or without our consent. So they're the flip side of the coin. When we love to organize ourselves as people, and then we set these hierarchies about those groupings and categories. If we could get rid of those hierarchies and not say that this norm is the ultimate, absolute, the best thing that we have, and dismantle that idea, then we can just honor the fact that we are all so different. And as we talked about yesterday, actually the only thing we have in common with everyone is that we're totally different from everyone. So these are some good examples of how privilege and oppression play out. And this is one of the real driving pictures for us of recognizing that there's an equal distance that both of these individuals need to go, but there's not an equity of journey. And so if we don't look at the road ahead and the road behind and the condition of each of us in this moment in time, then we're not seeing the whole person, even if we're looking them dead in the eye. Privilege works by invisibilizing itself to its recipients. Now, the people that experience oppression, it is very clear. And so those of us who don't have privilege need to wake up to the realities of that privilege and the experience of oppression. So I love this, cultural allyship. This is what we're going for. This is the calling to create inclusive spaces. Engaged learning plus action and behavior times responsibility. So we need to figure out what that looks like. I loved it this way too. It's so dramatic. So again, engaged learning, we've got to learn. We've got to spend our time learning. We've got to figure out actions and behaviors that we can take. And we need to keep responsibility, keeps that moving, right? It multiplies this, right? So that responsibility we always need to remember.
Johnny,
Great.
Are we supposed to be seeing different slides here? Because we're not seeing any slides change at all. We just seen that first one.
Oh, the cultural,
This
Okay.
says Potions for Humanity. That's the only one we can see.
Oh, we're looking at the, sorry about that. Thank you. Let me go back to this and let me share again. Thank you so much, Tanya. I had it set on the other one. Now, do you see cultural allyship? Awesome. Good. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Well, we'll shoot. We can also, I encourage everyone to watch, but I'll just, now that I said those things, you can just kind of see the pictures. Right, here we go. So this is the picture I was talking about. And so it's an equal distance, but not an equitable experience. So you can see, I love that picture. And we use that for the first day for our potion making. So cultural allyship, those are the pieces: engaged learning, action and behavior, and responsibility. And then took us through a great example of Woody and Barbie, which you'll definitely have to watch because it's a great story. Shame and guilt oftentimes pop for us. Shame is not helpful because it is I am bad, I am a mistake. Guilt can be helpful. I did something. I made a mistake. It's a focus on behavior and not the person. And so Black Benatar says that guilt plus motivation could equal responsibility. So if you do have guilt, fine, don't try to wash that away. Just add it with motivation, create responsibility, which is the multi that keeps that work going. 4 R's: recognize, reflect, research, and repair, right? So that's a piece Woody really messed up and he needed to spend some time repairing. It's a forever process. It's a responsibility. It is not an identity. So I just want to bring us to this, and then we'll go into our storytelling. Just to remember, here's Black Benatar's recipe for cultural allyship diet. Consume media, consume literature, Black-owned business, volunteer, donate, social media, and performing arts. And so, you know, this is what we can do in that engaged behavior, and also the engaged learning, and also define actions and behaviors. Okay, so let us go into the storytelling process. And I think you probably don't see the change, so I'm gonna do this again. Okay, do you see the tense?
Yes, we did.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so the storytelling prompt is: tell a story of a time when you witnessed yourself or someone else actively interrupting the dominant flow, what typically is happening in a space, right? So did some sort of intentional action to create a radically inclusive space. A time when you saw cultural allyship at play, creating an equitably inclusive, right? So the one that doesn't just say, you come on in, but we're also shifting how we do things for you or someone you know. We're gonna, I just want to say a couple things over on the right. Marquez Ryan, who's our story catcher, as taught by Baba John O'Neill of Southern Nonviolent Coordinating Committee's Free Southern Theater and Junebug Productions. Here's some storytelling tips. Storytellers should take us into an experience, into one specific moment in time. Second, the more embodied the story, leaning on one or more senses, the better. The yellows and browns of the kitchen decor, the bitter taste of lies pouring from my mouth, the feel of the warm dishwater soaking my gloves. Remember that stories are not statements. Meaning making is a team sport, so let's keep the preaching to the preachers and conclusions to our audience. Be brave and wise. Tell a story that causes you to think twice about sharing, but make sure that the telling of this story is safe for you now and in the foreseeable future. If you're still in the midst of living this story, if you just came through it, this may not be the best story to tell at this time. Use your best judgment.
Thank you, Jojo. We're going to give everyone 6 minutes to tell their story, 2 minutes to introduce yourselves to each other once we break out into small groups, and then 2 minutes for each storyteller. We won't share these files with anyone or even a transcription of your story. This week's storytelling, we just want to hear the stories. We may share the themes and generalities of the stories without any one specific story or identifying elements. And if you're at home, go to the website on the screen and click on the form to tell your story. That prompt one more time. Tell a story of a moment in time when you witnessed yourself or someone else actively interrupting the dominant flow of a situation to create a radically inclusive space. A time when you saw cultural allyship at play, creating an equitable, inclusive experience for you or someone you knew. Let's begin.
So as folks in the live studio audience, breakout rooms, again, the folks that are watching live stream, go ahead, you can, I won't throw it up now, but you can go to this website and there's a little place that you can go to a website and record your story directly into it, and we won't share that story or that file with anyone. We may share the themes that emerge. Oh, here, watch. And then the cute thing. Ah, look at Lily's cute little thing.
Lily, might we have JoJo in this little screen here playing? Thank you.
Oh. I don't know the rest of that song. I have been loving this little Sesame Street songbook that I got.
I like it.
Any changes that we need to make? Anything we need to think about?
We started the breakout rooms about 4 minutes later
Oh,
than.
Gwen's not in a small group yet.
Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. I thought that Gwen was already in a breakout room. How did that happen?
Hi,
Oh,
Gwen.
for some reason, breakout room.
I was all by myself.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Lily, you want to
okay.
go?
I think we had somebody who was in, and then they maybe signed out.
You up for doing a little storytelling with Gwen?
Yes, I can do that.
Awesome, cool, thanks.
Great. Okay, I'm gonna. Great. Let's go ahead and let's see. I think I need to give you guys a new breakout room. Give me just a second.
Okay.
Can you, Gwen, do you have and Chi, do you have an option to hit join?
No.
Okay. Gwen, I'm going to move you into room 5 with Aaron. And it should have Aru in there, so I'm not quite sure why it's. I think unless I close them all and start them anew. Can you, is there an option to hit is there a thing that says join? Did anything pop up on your screen?
It did not. And it's okay, Lily. I can.
Hey, breakout rooms. You need to click on that.
Oh, and I can. There we go.
I'm happy. I sing because I'm free, for his eyes on the sand, and I know he watches me. Callie, you were saying something?
Oh, I was just saying that we started about 4 minutes later today in the breakout rooms than we did yesterday.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you even want to ask if people have ingredients to share. Do we want to skip that?
I think so. Yeah. Or yeah, exactly. Yep.
Like ask for stories, but not for ingredients.
Yeah, and let's just ask for like 2 stories at most. I think so, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because we want to let people share if they, right? We want to hear some stories. Yeah.
And the time is up. Are we ready to go ahead and close the breakout rooms?
Yep. Yeah, and we'll go into gallery view.
Great. So they'll be back in just a few moments.
Okay.
We've got a Suze. Hang on just one moment, Suze, while other folks re-enter. There we go.
Welcome back. How was that experience? Please jot into the chat a few words about your story if you wish to share. We have time for about 2 stories today. Do we have any storytellers that might like to share their experience and their story?
I think we're still getting folks back, huh?
Maybe so.
And we want to ask again. I think we've got Ms. Derry.
Welcome back, everyone. Is there any storyteller here in our audience that would like to share? We have time for about 2 stories if you would like to.
Looks like Tanya and Nolan.
Lovely.
Hi, so I was listening to what we were supposed to talk about, the story, and this is the first thing that came to my mind. Years ago when I was living in New York City, I was coming home from work and I was coming up out of the subway and it was snowing out. And the line to get up the stairs out of the subway was really slow, and that doesn't usually happen. People just walk up. But for some reason we were waiting, and when I got up to the landing where the stairs in the middle of the staircase, the reason why it was slow is because people were stepping over a man that was laying there. And so I said, hey, buddy, you can't stay here. You're going to freeze. Let's get you moving. Let's get you up and moving. And so I helped him get up and walk up the stairs. And I don't really know what happened to him after that. I just know that he couldn't stay there. And I couldn't step over another human being just so I could get home. And so that was the story that came up. And I think it was really about including him in everybody moving forward. And a woman stopped me on the way home and she said, that was really brave what you did. I was like, I don't see that as brave. I see that as just being a human being. So that's my story.
Thank you for sharing. Nolan?
Yeah, so my story comes from my first experience at Mumble Talk, which for those of you that might not be familiar, Mumble Talk is the longest running and largest LGBTQ college conference in the country. And it originated in the Midwest, which I just think is kind of cute. So my first experience at Mumble Talk was forever ago. I can't even remember when, but it was winter in Iowa. It was at Iowa State University. And I remember it was my first time in an experience that was majority queer in the area, that was more than just a group of friends. And the experience of having people's pronouns on their name tag and the environment that created in a way that people who identified outside the gender binary, people that especially people that identified within the gender binary, especially cisgender people who identified with what they were assigned at birth, having to kind of name their pronouns and think about what it means to have your pronouns not be automatically assumed, and the way that created the consciousness in the space to have other conversations about people's identity and the kind of openness that created. And so having that moment where someone would get up and you could see that in other spaces, someone might hesitate before they introduce their pronouns, that moment of, is this a safe space? Can I do this? Can I say this? In this space of Mumble Talk, where the pronouns were already there, people just being clearly more comfortable, more free-flowing with their identities, more fluid in how they express themselves, and less anxiety, less nervousness. And so seeing that was kind of that first moment of, wow, like the power of being able to place your identity in a safe space, but being able to place your identity in a very visible way, not only helps those who might struggle with their identity being part of that public persona, but then also for those of us that feel more settled in our identities, if they're very conventional identities, are able then to have a moment and reflect, oh, maybe I should be a little more mindful of my own identity and question maybe some of my identity. So that was my experience.
Thank you. Thank you. And so you can hear from both of those stories, and thank you for being generous with sharing, everyone. You can hear sensory experiences, right? So Tanya shared the snow falling, the walking up out of the subway, the sounds of the city, right? And then the powers. So Nolan mentioned, possible powers that Nolan could list as fluidity, openness, questioning, naming things, right? These are powers that transform, that Nolan could find in those in Nolan's story, right? So that moves us into the, the next step of the potion making process. And I'm just going to let you know, we probably are going to run about 5 minutes past the hour. So hopefully that works for Rachel, unless if you need to cut out, that's fine, to stream some more stuff. And anyone that needs to leave, please feel free. But Miss Terry, will you take us into the next step?
Well, yes, Jojo. The step 2 in our potion making process, which is all we will get time to today, is listing our ingredients. Now, you can see the slide before us. Take out a piece of paper and make 2 columns. At the top, write the name or some description of your story. Go ahead and do that now. Lovely. Now, at the top of one column, write sensory experiences. And the top of the other column, write powers discovered or desired. Then write a list of all the sensory experiences you recall from that story you shared. Be vivid and descriptive, bold and tasty. What did it smell like? What did you feel and where did you feel it? What did you see and what sound surrounded you? Now, write the power or powers you discovered in that story, or the power or powers you wish you had access to in that moment in time. Go ahead, and we'll give you a moment to do this. Now,
let's give him one more moment.
Of course. I'm always rushing. Everyone diligently working on their list. Excellent. Now You are all charged with creating a sensory experience to share your story and unleash your powers for you or the world around you. Make a song, create a dance, blend some oil, brew a tea, make a dish or baked good, sew a costume, whatever it is you feel moved to do. Don't agonize and don't apologize. We need potions after potions after potions. The messier, the better.
Yes, that's right. We love messy potions. I think sometimes when we're doing this kind of creative work and art making, and especially when we're sharing our stories, we oftentimes get a little bit nervous about making it perfect, making it right. And that's just make it. Just make it. We need potions after potions after potions right now. And then the next step is we can take some of those potions that we really like, that we feel moved by, and then we can brew them a little bit further into show-ready pieces, and then we have a potion show. So we do hope that you will share your potions. We do hope that you will share your potions as you make them. You can post them on social media and hashtag Potions for Humanity. I'll pull this stuff up so you have that. Also, these are some other hashtags that'd be great so the Iowa Arts can be able to follow, and Art Week Des Moines can be able to see our potions. But please definitely do that, and then we'll look through, and if you post it on social media, we believe that you're consenting for us to then share that. And if not, make sure you put that in there, like, here's my potion, but please don't share it, and that's fine. We will respect that. And then if you'd like to actually submit it for us to be able to curate during the Iowa Arts Summit, if you can go to the website that's listed there, and we'll also make this available on johnnystacks.com directly, so it's a little bit easier. But go there, and you could submit it through the Iowa Arts Council slide room, which is really helpful. And so then we'll be able to get those, curate them through the summer, and share them and the themes that emerge at the Iowa Arts Summit to bring these conversations into that question that we're going to ask at the summit, which is, in this moment of disruption, what opportunities can we seize to adapt the world to manifest our visions? So yeah, I think I want to say thank you to the live studio audience. This is super fun today, as well as all week. It's been so fun, and this is our last episode, of this week. And so thank you for being here. I'm really excited about this project kicking off, and you have been such a gift. I want to thank the Iowa Arts Council again for supporting this, for really making this all happen. And Art Week Des Moines for creating the platform for us to come and really workshop this and kick off a conversation. Because one of the other things we need to ask this summer is, what systems do we need to have in place to keep ourselves working, to keep ourselves moving, to keep ourselves connected as we bring our creative force to Jedi work. I also want to make sure that and we'll make these available online, so have other folks do it. Again, this has not been me who has done much of any of it. It is all a group of folks that have really been powerful in making this happen. Thank you so much, Chi, for bringing your grounding and for bringing the gift of music. I want to thank Lily for bringing the Zoom management, as well as the visuals that we saw of the tent. So thank you for that. And Charlie Malave of Creative Weirdo, the two of them have been really essential in developing this project. C.R. Buffum, who's not with us today, has been amazing. Marquez Ryan, our story catcher, as well. Thank you so much. And Caledonia, Ms. Terry. Thank you so much. I look forward to continuing this journey with you beyond this week, right? So please let us know. Please share your potions. Let us know how we can stay connected. Thank you all so much for doing this. And, we started ending our sessions with a little sing-along. Oh, Lily, I forgot to remind you of those lyrics. Lily will grab those lyrics for the Rainbow Connection, because I think there's something, it's my theme song and my favorite song, but I think there's something really beautiful about looking for other folks who are seeking to dream and vision a new world and love our way into it. And those of us who feel called to this work, I think are part of this Rainbow Connection. And we don't know what it is, we just are able to see the fruits of its presence in our lives. And so thank you so much for being here and for being a part of the first week of Potions for Humanity. Why are there so many songs about rainbows and what's on the other side? Rainbows are visions, but only illusions, and rainbows have nothing to hide. So we've been told, and some choose to believe it. I know they're wrong way to see. Someday we'll find it, the Rainbow Connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. One said that every wish would be heard and answered when wished on the morning star. Somebody thought of that, and someone believed it. Look what it's done so far. What's so amazing that keeps us stargazing? And what do we think we might see? Someday we'll find it, the Rainbow Connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. All of us under its spell, we know that it's probably magic. Have you been at the stake? And have you heard voices? I've heard them calling my name. Is this the sweet sound that calls the young sailors? The voice might be one and the same. I've heard it too many times to ignore it. It's something that I'm supposed to be. Someday we'll find it, the Rainbow Connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. La da dee da 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 dee da. Thank you, lovers and dreamers and peace warriors. This is such a gift. Thank you so much. I think that Creston may be showing us a mural, so anyone that wants to stick around, let's take a look and see if they actually did take us down there. I'm so sorry.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, they did. Yay, perfect. Yeah, good.
Hello, everybody. This is Mei-Ling Chung, our lead artist. Her pronouns are she, her, and hers. And she is one of my former students. She's now a Cohawk. Woo! And she is a student that I think really brought a lot of things to light for me with racism in our community and things that she's faced and had to overcome as a young female Asian artist in Creston. And so it's been an amazing pleasure to be able to get her to come back to Creston and create a beautiful work of art for our community and to be able to showcase her and her talents. That's Isaac, her wonderful partner over there helping out as well. Mei-Ling, do you want to say anything about your art or the project? You can just say hi, that's fine. We just wanted to share this with everybody, but we're really excited. The volunteers are kind of on lunch hour at the moment, but wanted to show you our progress on our fourth mural.
Yay, thank you. That's beautiful. Creston is just covered with murals, thanks to the work of Bailey and Blake and Brian and all these different artists. So I'm excited. As I mentioned before, that's going to be our Southwest Iowa hub for doing potion making and potion shows. So it's going to be so fun to be there when we can.
Yes.
All right. Thank you for sharing. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you, Johnny. It's been an amazing experience.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Sorry
you.
I was late. I'm so glad I could make it today.
Yeah, perfect. I'm glad you made it perfectly in time.
Thanks, Johnny. It's been a
Yes.
great week.
Thank you. Hi, Kai.
Oh.
Hi. All right. We'll see y'all later.